Hello, this is Igoro, host of the Igoro Show, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. So keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Hey, welcome to the Steve and Crypto Show, presented by thestevestrout.com. I'm Steve.
I'm Crypto Zoo. It's episode 71. We appreciate you guys listening. Hope you're doing well. And if you are a fan of what you've been hearing, you can head over to our Patreon. We just want to get that out of the way now before we get to all the fun stuff in this episode, because there's lots of fun stuff over at patreon.com/Steve Crypto. So you head over there, you can become a member, and there's all different levels, basically. You know, it's kind of like whatever you feel like I shouldn't say levels, but it's pretty much like, yeah, it's pretty much like whatever you feel like contributing, you know, is fine. And we have a couple like unboxing videos and different things. So
yeah, you guys get first access to them. The patrons get first access. I think we hold them back for a few weeks before we release them publicly. So get first dibs on our top-notch, top-of-the-line art that we're sharing.
Yeah. Well, we have some more things coming up. You know, more things up our sleeve. Crypticon is around the corner, and I know we're going to be covering that pretty well. So maybe we'll have some exclusive stuff that we'll throw over on the Patreon for you guys involving that.
Yeah, we very well could. I'm not going to promise anything, but
yeah,
we'll get some patrons some cool shit though, and we'll have some fun with you guys. So just head over to Patreon, like you said, patreon.com/Steve Crypto, and you can choose your amount you'd like to pledge monthly and help us grow. And also, you can help us by following us both on social media. The Steve Strout, he's CryptoZoo88 at Instagram and Twitter. And we also have a Facebook group, the Steve and Crypto Show Facebook group, where you could jump in there and kind of join the conversation with us and chat and post interesting news articles and show us some shit you're working on and come have some fun with us. And of course, on all those platforms, you could always message us with any comments or questions or anything you think we might want to talk about. And of course, we've been doing that horror trivia question every week for the last few weeks. And those are the places you're going to go and tell us the trivia answer so we can send you some stickers and put you in line for an even cooler prize.
Yep.
Yeah, social media.
We just want to send you some cool stuff. So
yeah,
be sure to go listen to those older episodes and you know, find the trivia questions in there.
Spread the word.
I believe we started maybe on like 65 or 66 with the trivia, somewhere around there. But to be safe, why don't you just start at episode 1, go all the way through
till you catch up,
and you'll find them. Yeah, you'll find them along the way. And you know, another way that you can help the show is by heading over to buymeacoffee.com/Steve Crypto. And it's basically like a tipping service. You can, you know, send whatever you like, and it just helps to keep the show going. It helps to, you know, improve our gear that we use for recording, and it helps to spread the word about the show. I mean, it goes towards like promoting and all sorts of different things. So we've had plenty of people contribute already, and we appreciate you guys, and we love you for, you know, everything that you've done to help us out so far. We've been doing this a year and a half, and it's been a lot of fun. We really enjoy it, and we hope you guys do as well.
I think they are. And I did notice, you know, most of you guys know already, we record remotely via Zoom. And I noticed a few minutes ago, Crypto was enjoying a delicious cup of coffee from a Steve and Crypto Show mug, which he claims that it makes it taste better. So
it does. I'm drinking out of mine right now. I know you guys can't really see it, but this cup of Joe is just tasting a hell of a lot better.
I know since I started drinking out of my Steven Crypto mug, I haven't been able to go use any other mugs. There are no other mugs. So if you guys want to have the best damn drinking receptacle to enjoy your hot or cold beverage out of, find our merch store. We have it up on Etsy. Just search Steven Crypto. We got some t-shirts, magnets, mugs. We got some cool stuff on there. And so basically you could get it, you could support us, you could represent us, and you could look damn cool while you do it. So now that we're done tooting our own horn and we're gonna kind of take it down a little bit with a sad thing happened over the weekend. The drummer from the band Foo Fighters passed away, and he was only 50 years old. And me, I've been a Foo Fighters fan since day one. And lately I've been listening to them a lot more because their movie Studio 666 came out. And I've been like so hyped by that movie because I fucking loved it that, I've been breaking out some of their tunes to listen to. And that happened over the weekend. It kind of hit me, kind of really bummed me out. It's weird, like when somebody you don't personally know affects you in that way.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It just seemed like a good dude.
Yeah.
Seemed like a fun guy.
I mean, sometimes, like, even though it's someone that you don't personally know, you might feel like you do because you've been listening to them for so long.
Yeah, they affected you in some way in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even you listen to them in interviews and like maybe like biography things, documentaries and stuff like that. And you just learn more about who they are off stage, and maybe you relate to them, and you just start to connect with them, and yeah, it hurts more when they go.
And it's even worse because, like I said, dude was young. He was like 50. And anytime you've seen him, like say in interviews or, even in the movie, it just always looked like he was having fun and enjoying life and just always smiling and just being funny. And he was just as big part of that band as Dave Grohl. When it started, it was like Dave Grohl and a bunch of people, but they grew and the band grew on you. Now it's like they all have names. And I feel that even more after watching that movie, which I'm glad you finally got to see. So before we're going to talk about it a little bit, of course, because we have to, because I'm so glad you finally seen it. But just rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins, and I don't know if the Foo Fighters are going to carry on or what. I feel like he would probably want them to.
I feel like he'd probably want them to. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. Of course it's their decision, but Led Zeppelin and Rush both, like when their drummers passed, they pretty much called it quits. I mean, Zeppelin had a few shows here and there with like John Bonham's son or whatever, but for Rush, they were done. And they had a pretty long career anyway, but it's I give a lot of respect to those bands for doing so. And now I'm not saying that as if I wish that the Foo Fighters would stop. What I think might happen if they choose to continue is that maybe Dave will do the drums on like the albums, in the recordings, and then maybe they'll have a close friend come with them as like a touring drummer. A lot of bands don't have like official members, or they'll have somebody that comes in for a little while and maybe down the road they become official. That's all I'm thinking might happen.
Yeah, that's right now. Just thoughts go out to the band and their families.
Yeah,
Taylor Hawkins' family. But I thank those guys for this freaking movie they just put out
Yeah,
last month.
It's nice that he was able to at least make a really kick-ass horror film with his best friends.
Yeah.
Before he passed.
Yeah. How cool would that have been?
Yeah, I know. I'd love to do that. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's weird, man. It just seems so sudden, and it seems like this kind of thing happens a lot, especially to people in the music scene. Like they'll have a positive moment in their career, or maybe have a little bit more success, and then they leave.
But you think that the stresses and stuff that they put on their body that come with the success, you know what I mean? Touring nonstop. You're basically going, 20 hours a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you get hurt, you play through pain, you play through, there's no I'm tired, there's no, you know what I mean? You just stay wear on your fucking body, and sometimes it just catches up, or sometimes it goes down an even darker path where you have to turn to substances or something to keep you going, or you know what I mean? And in the end it all turns out the same.
Yeah.
You stress yourself to death, you drink yourself to death, you drug yourself to death, because it's all you really know. Not saying this is what happened to him, but I feel like the stress and nonstop, it just wore on him. And I know earlier in his career, I guess he had a OD on something, partying, and it could have caused some kind of damage, a long-term damage or something. But
there was an autopsy report.
I
heard about it, and I guess
there's I saw what they say they found and stuff, but I think it's probably maybe too early to talk about that right now.
Yeah, I didn't want to say too much. I just wanted to. It seems like it might be kind of similar to what's his name, Chris Cornell. Where they're trying to better themselves, and they're maybe trying to, but they're also on the road, and they're around a lot of different things. So yeah,
but
this
is definitely a situation where he didn't intentionally do it.
Yeah.
Because they said he complained. They say he was having chest pains, and then they came, and
yeah.
But just really I just want to honor him for a second, and just dude's a brilliant drummer. He can even sing.
Yeah.
I've been the last few days, I've been watching all the videos of him coming out from behind the kit, and Dave going back there, and him singing Queen songs. And
yep, I think they have
it's fun.
They have a group called the DGs, and I think Taylor did a lot of singing in that. Yeah,
I think that was a while back.
Yeah, wasn't that something that they did, a kind of a little cover band thing?
Yeah,
he has a band. Taylor has
a band now, and they started another a super group. I forgot who was in it. A couple of known people, but they were set to release an EP this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but let's talk about that movie a little bit. Let's bring the mood up a little bit. You finally got to see it without spoiling too much. What'd you think? Was it what everything I said it was?
Yeah, definitely. It's a horror movie by a band that has never really made a movie before. I mean, they have made little, you could almost say little short films with a lot of their music videos, because a lot of them, they're little stories, and
they have fun.
Yeah, they had fun, and they're always dressing up in costumes and playing characters and whatnot. Um, so I this is a horror film with definitely has some bits of comedy in here and there. Great cameos, great kill scenes, like
So what was
special
probably
effects.
they did a great job with all the gore and effects and everything. What was probably your favorite kill scene in the movie?
Probably
the same one that I would pick, but
the same one as you, yeah, which involves a chainsaw.
Oh
yeah. There's some great ones in there. I mean, even the first one, you don't have to wait long for the first kill.
Which one was that? Was that the delivery guy?
No, that's like this is like a minute into the movie.
Oh yeah. The Jenna Ortega one.
Yeah.
It says she's in everything now.
Yep.
She's in every freaking movie.
She seems to be a new,
lot of horror.
Yeah, a new familiar face in horror, that's for sure. But
that's cool.
Yeah,
she's good.
Yeah. They had Jenna Ortega, Whitney Cummings is in there as like the neighbor that keeps.
She was surprisingly entertaining too.
Yeah. She was fun. Kerry King from Slayer made a little
I met him
cameo.
Once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he wasn't that friendly. Anyway,
not surprising. Anyway,
I didn't feel bad for his scene.
Who probably would be friendly is Will Forte.
Maybe I feel like he'd be a little weird, but he'd probably be friendly.
Yeah. You'd probably be able to at least say hi to him.
We mentioned before we started recording, we were talking about John Carpenter. Because he did the theme song. That was kind of cool seeing him pop up in there. It took me a second to realize, like, wait, is that? Oh yeah, it is John Carpenter. Okay.
Yeah. That
wasn't
nice.
the best cameo though. The best cameo in the movie was the Lionel Richie one. I know I already said I can spoil it too much, but I feel like the people who want to see it have already seen it. I hope. But that's all I will say about it. It was a good movie. It gave off very it had that horror comedy. I don't want to say like Evil Dead vibes, but like it felt like that with like the over the top.
I do. I am gonna say Evil Dead vibes. Yeah. You can definitely tell that they had a few homages to horror in there.
You can definitely see a lot of inspiration from a lot of different things, but
one of them was definitely Evil Dead. The Exorcist being another. Saw little bits of The Exorcist in there.
Then they threw in like the slasher stuff, which was different than those movies. So it was cool.
Yeah.
Man. I dug it. It was fun. I'm glad you finally saw it.
I'll end up buying it for sure. I definitely will.
Definitely. And it was cool seeing these guys. Like you said, they were all like best friends. And you could tell they were having a good time. They didn't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And they just had a blast making it. Like it looked like the time of their fucking lives. And I'm glad they got to do something awesome like that before he passed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice that you got to make a really fun movie like that with his friends before he left us.
Yeah. I'm glad he didn't go the way he went in the movie too. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably an inappropriate comment. Sorry. But
too
soon.
Yeah. Well, you're saying it's good that he didn't go that way. So you're saying something positive.
Yeah. It's probably good for nobody to go that way. But you know who I would like to see go that way is never mind. We'll talk about that guy in a minute.
Yeah, I know where you're going with that. Before we get there though, if you pay attention to the first scene in the movie, like the very first scene when it starts up, you can see a little plaque on the wall for like a little, golden plaque or whatever for a band. And the band is called Dream Widow.
That was the made up band that was supposed to have recorded at that place. And
that's the band that played there before the Foo Fighters, I guess. Yeah. And so basically there's a a fictional band out there that you can now get the record for. Like you can listen to Dream Widow's album, and it's basically the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Or Dave Grohl and Friends. I don't know, but I mean, if you look up Foo Fighters, that's their new album. So I'm assuming it's all of them. And so not only did Taylor get to make a really fun movie, but they made a metal record before he passed away as well. And it's just like an EP. It's 40 minutes long or whatever, but there's 8 tracks. The last track is 10 minutes long. There's all different sub-genres of metal in there. You know, there's thrash, there's like doom metal, there's, I mean, all kinds of different styles. And you hear like, a little bit of Black Sabbath, a little bit of Ghost, a little bit of Venom.
Right.
It's very good. Definitely worth checking out.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that. I'll have to track it down.
Yeah.
Did you pick it up, or did you just restream it or something?
I've been streaming it. Yeah. I looked up Foo Fighters when I found out about it. I think I found out that Taylor passed Friday or Saturday, and I just decided like I should make a little playlist of them, and I looked them up on Amazon, and that was there, and I just listened to that whole album front to back, and the first song just made my jaw drop. It's called Encino. Yeah. I wish the Foo Fighters were like that all the time.
Yeah. I like how they are, man. I like how they evolve and how they but they still have fun and do shit like this.
Yeah. Dave, I mean, I like their music. I wouldn't say that I like every song or anything, but I like a lot of their songs. And I just love Dave, especially as a drummer. But I like that he has always been a metalhead. You know, there's
he just music, man.
He just loves music in general.
To his fucking soul.
But I mean, he made the Probot project years ago, and that was a little sprinkling of what he could do. And this one here is even heavier, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's really fun.
Right on. Well, let's move along and remind everybody. Last week we talked with Danny Nightmare from the Horror Addicts, and he kind of hyped up their award show that they produced called the Oscars, kind of a play on the Oscars, but the Oscars, which is really cool. And they streamed that event this past Sunday.
Yep.
That was fun. It was fun. I think it should be available to watch now on their YouTube channel. I could be mistaken, but go check it out, go find it. It's the Horror Addicts on YouTube. And I mean, listen to last week's episode and hear a little more about it too. It's I guess we're in the middle of award season. It's that time of year, and we're doing this Monday, and like I said, Sunday, which was yesterday. If you guys don't know your days of the week yet, it's the same night the Oscars ran. It was the Oscars, and I don't want to talk about that too much because I want to talk about horror award stuff, which we're going to talk about later in this episode with our guests. Was kind of cool seeing a genre film like Dune kicking ass and won a bunch of awards, so that's good. But I didn't know about this, and it pissed me off when I read it. They did a fan vote award, which I didn't know anything about it.
And you're upset because one of your favorite directors won, and no one even bothered to tell you.
No, I didn't know that I could have voted against this guy.
You don't mean that.
I mean it from the bottom of my
bottom of
heart.
Your black cold heart.
Yeah. They did like I said, a fan choice award thing, and Zack Snyder won for the fucking Army of the Dead. One of the worst movies of the year. One of the worst movies of my life.
He beat Spider-Man.
Can
you believe that?
Spider-Man. They beat Dune. They beat The Suicide Squad. They beat fucking Power of the Dog, which I haven't seen, but that was a Best Picture nominee.
It's probably better than
it's probably better than
Snyder movie. Yeah.
Sing 2. That was probably better than the Snyder movie. I didn't watch it, but it's like,
yeah,
how the fuck? How they need to? No, man. Why that movie?
We're just so lost for words.
I'm upset. Like, I'm pissed. This is like the second saddest thing to happen over the weekend. Like,
yeah,
literally, like, get the fuck out of here. Go away. Will he just go away and stop haunting me? Especially with that stupid movie. But anyways, horror award shows. The Oscars were last night. Probably the biggest one is the Rondo Awards, if you ask me, and that's coming up. People are still voting. You have till like April 17th, I think. So we had the driving force behind the Rondo Awards. He started it. He's been running it basically like a one-man show. Dude works his ass off for this to honor and tribute all the hardworking people in the genre. And I definitely appreciate him. I know you appreciate him.
Yeah.
His name is David Colton, and we had him on to kind of tell us the history of the Rondos and a little bit, about voting and stuff. So it's our guest today, David Colton, the man behind the Rondo Awards. So let's run that and learn more about it. And don't forget to, after you listen to this episode, get on rondoaward.com and vote for your third favorite podcast. We need to make our next t-shirts to be like, my third favorite podcast is the Stephen Crypto Show.
Right.
Yeah. Funny. But
let us know if you guys want one.
Yeah, maybe it's something we can work on. But meet Mr. David Colton, one of the hardest working people I've ever chatted with.
You are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. I am Hank, the world's greatest, the host of Death by DVD.
I'm Linnea, and I like Death by DVD. It's a statement.
And I'm in your house. So, once you finish listening to this episode and download 3 more, head on over to www.deathbydvd.com, where there are over 130 blood-soaked episodes all about your favorite horror, exploitation, cult, and psychotronic movies available to stream and download for your listening displeasure. I hope you enjoy this episode of the Steve and Crypto Show, and remember to start locking your back door.
Hi, I'm Doug Jones, the tall, skinny, goofy actor who plays lots of monsters and creatures on film and in TV. But today, I want you to know that you are listening to the best podcast on the air, and that would be the Steve and Crypto Show.
Hey, we're on the Steve and Crypto Show with a very special guest. I'm excited to chat with a bit and actually meet. His name is David Colton. He was a journalist. I'm not sure if he's still doing that.
You're always a journalist.
Oh, yeah, there you go. He's a journalist, and he is the driving force behind the Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Awards, which is, to me, it's I feel like it's the Oscars of our little genre of monster movie lovers and weirdos. And I guess we're not the genre, but you guys listening know what I'm saying. But David, thank you for coming on, and good to meet you finally.
Appreciate you having us.
I know you're busy right now. You're in the thick of things, getting probably thousands of ballots sent in and tallying up the votes. Before we get into the history of the awards, I'm just curious of your process in doing this. I know it's all through email. So do you just like tally it as you open the emails, or?
It's a little insane. Yeah, it's all through emails, and I record what everybody votes for, and I go through them into the night sometimes, and never reveal what anybody voted for, and never sell the list or anything like that. But we get thousands and thousands of votes. It's quite amazing.
Right. Well, that's good that you don't reveal it, because I don't need my co-host to see that I voted against us.
Now, is the vote tallying, is that all on you, or do you have anybody helping you out with that?
It's all on me. There are times when it gets overwhelming, and somebody will take a hand, but sometimes 200 votes come in a day, sometimes 30 votes come in a day. So at the end, it gets quite insane.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. It kind of like dumbfounds me just thinking about, I'll go through just regular emails and get 20, 30 a day, and it's like overwhelming. I can imagine having to open every email. Half of them are junk, so I just toss them, but I can imagine having to open every one and go through that.
I try to automate it. I have a standard reply that I send, and sometimes I'll say something extra, but it can go pretty quickly once you get into the groove of it. Not everybody votes for everything. Thank God.
Thankfully, huh? Imagine that. How many categories is there this year?
There are 28 categories. There's got to be 400 or 500 listings. It's just, wow. A lot of it is, to honor people who weren't recognized in the past. There are people like Tim Lucas and Tom Weaver and Greg Mank who are doing as good journalism as anything out there, except it's about Bela Lugosi or Boris Karloff, and it never got recognized.
Right.
So I kind of took a journalistic approach, and a lot of the ballot is for best article, best interview, not best actor or best actress, or like there are some awards that have, best decapitation or best kill. Right. We don't do any of that.
Yeah.
It's about the coverage of.
Yeah, it becomes less of like a popularity thing, more an homage to the creators and their skills. Yeah, which that's important. I think it means more than, like you say, I love a good kill in a scary movie, but I think it means more that this like you say, a journalist is recognized for a great article he wrote.
Right. But they're still fun. We have best cover and best movie and best Blu-ray.
Yeah. The best cover is always one of my favorite ones every year. There's always some amazing artists out there. It's overwhelming sometimes. Yeah. But I'm glad I don't have to tally the votes.
Yeah, we thank you for doing so.
Well, what else am I doing?
With that being said, the Rondo Awards. Let's get a brief, quick history of how it started.
All right. Let me ask my assistant here. Alexa, what are the Rondo Hatton Awards?
Here's something I found on the web. According to wikipedia.org, the Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Awards is an award presented annually by the Classic Horror Film Board to honor outstanding works in horror in film, television, home video, and publishing, voted on by the general public.
I don't even know how that got online, but I never think of horror fans as the general public, but
we're a little different breed.
Right. Way back in 2002, which used to be the future, we had, way back in the 90s, we had a discussion group on AOL, which was kind of before the internet exploded. If you were online, you were on a service. You were on AOL or CompuServe or one of those things. And there were, a bunch of people, a lot of writers, a lot of editors, and we were debating the old dark house and, Lugosi's best and worst roles. And we decided, what if we had an award? And we kicked around a lot of names. It was kind of based on FanX, which had the Laemmle Awards after the founder of Universal Pictures. But somebody suggested Rondo Hatton. And Kerry Gamble, who's a Superman and X-Men artist, was a member of the group. And he sketched what the award could look like. In the movie House of Horrors, there was a giant sculpt of Rondo Hatton's head. He was actually quite good-looking teenager. He was a journalist. He fought in World War I, but he suffered from acromegaly, elephant man disease. And the story was that there was mustard gas used by the Germans in World War I, but more research has shown that it's probably an existing condition. But his face distended. He didn't look like Elephant Man, but he obviously was fighting a severe face disfigurement. And Universal Pictures figured, oh, God, we have a monster here without makeup, the need for makeup, and put him in a few pictures. The Spider-Woman Strikes Back, I think a Sherlock Holmes movie, a few others. And then he was in House of Horrors, where the giant sculpt of his head became kind of a plot point. And Kerry sculpted a small version of it. And we said, wow, we should do this. So the first year there were 168 votes. And the next year there were 600 votes. And then there were 1,200, and it got to about 3,000 to 4,000 and kind of stabilized there. Last year we had 6,000 votes, which I don't think we'll reach this year, which was the record. But I think that was more that everybody was home and there was a pandemic, and there was a lot of campaigning, like please vote for me and that kind of thing. So it was really exciting last year. This year, I think we'll fall back to 4,000, but who knows? We still have 2.5 weeks to go. But at the Classic Horror Film Board, which is a message board, we solicit nominations and suggestions, and we get a lot of people saying, this magazine or this article or this project. And we could have gone two ways. We could have set up a star chamber where we take all that stuff and 5 nominees in each category. But as you guys know, in the horror genre, I guess in all genres, the infighting can be really, take over what was supposed to be, a nice, recognition. And my head just started spinning over the battles over, who's a professional artist versus who's an amateur artist. What's the best book? Oh, that's old. Why are we nominating that? So I just took a kind of, if it exists, it gets nominated approach, which filled the ballot at the beginning. But as the years went on, we did have to get more selective. And some stuff just doesn't make it, even though it sounds like it should make it. Like, the reason your show makes it is because there's such quality and there's such regularity. It isn't like, you'll have a show and then 4.5 months later, hey, let's do another show. And that's one of the hallmarks of a good podcast, that you can rely that there's a new show coming. So even though the ballot is still insanely voluminous, we think everything there is good quality, and I share it with a few people and they say, hey, don't do that guy, whatever. But there must be 400 or more listings, and it can also be viewed as a great catalog. Just, wow, I didn't know there was a, collection of Christopher Lee's Euro movies or that kind of thing. So it's fun, it's frustrating, we have a ceremony at Wonderfest every year in June. And, some winners cry. There was a, forget his name, Ray, gosh. He sculpted the Aurora's Godzilla, the Aurora King Kong, the Aurora Bride of Frankenstein models. And when he came up to accept his Hall of Fame award, he just started crying. It was unbelievable. I mean, the man was 92 and people are standing applauding. And that's why I do it. It's just recognizing people who are not usually recognized. You know, I mean, you guys know, what do you do? Well, we do a podcast. Oh, what's it about? Well, it's about horror movies. And as soon as you say that, half the people say, oh, that's nice, and back away.
Yeah. I try to throw in the pop culture thing, and then say, there's an emphasis on horror, but we cover pop culture.
So, when I was I'm retired now, but when I used to work at USA Today, and I said, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to a convention. Oh, what kind of convention? Well, it's a monster convention. And oh, okay. And off, they wander off.
Yeah, we know that one.
So it's been great. There have been controversies and stuff, but it's worked out fine. And we've given out hundreds of statues. And this year's is at, I think, June 2nd in Louisville at Wonderfest. We'll have the ceremony, and hopefully more people will come than came last year, which was like pretty empty because of the COVID.
So you guys did end up having a ceremony last year.
Yeah, I look back on it like, did we really do that? Because, but it was late. It was later in the year than usual, and it did not become a spreader event as far as we could tell. I mean, there were a lot of masks and stuff, but
that's good. That's good. It would have been a bummer to miss the year. Yeah, I mean, the Rondo is grown into it really well recognized. I mean, it's gotten coverage in Entertainment Weekly, Hollywood Reporter, all the top horror websites, Dread Central and all them. So that's, I mean, it obviously means something. So
yeah, you've definitely grown over these 20 years that you've been doing it. And I wanted to compliment you on even your very first year. 168 votes just in the first year seems pretty impressive too, because I mean, we know how it is when you're trying to get your.
That's before social media.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah, at least now we're able to try to push things, on the web and whatnot. But like, that's very impressive for back then, for 2002.
Right. And, my daughter keeps saying, like, the ballot is insane. You either have to copy it, cut and paste it, or, write it out. And my daughter says, why don't you use, Survey Monkey, or,
one of those,
something where you just click it. But the ballot is so long, I think it would be frustrating in a different way that, you can only get so many on a page before you have to click to the next page. And
yeah.
And I kind of like this way because I get to interact with everybody, and it's fun. But I think the kind of 8-track tape era approach of the ballot, where you have to actually cut and paste it, keeps it from becoming like, even bigger. I also worry with digital voting that it can be manipulated pretty easily. A couple years ago, we got 3,000 votes from China, which is fine, but they were all for the same guy. And if you looked at the rhythm of the ballots, it was the name was in the same place, the thing was in the same place, thank you very much was in the same place. And we traced it to there's software you can buy for $5. You can get 500 emails from different people. For $50, you can get 5,000. And I guess that kind of software is like aimed at American Idol kind of things, or whatever it is, People's Choice. I don't know how those things work, but why you would purchase, false emails. So we discarded 3,000 votes, which, for the PR, it would have been great. We had 9,000 votes, but it just didn't seem right. And I contacted the guy, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know what happened. That certainly wasn't me." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, it's one of his fans, I guess. But,
So,
I think having to go through, like I mentioned before, and actually read the ballot without just clicking and sending, you kind of forced to read it. And like I've been mentioning on the show a bunch, like it gives you a chance to find something new that you might not have known about, which is my favorite part of it. My favorite part of the Rondo Awards is looking at the ballot and finding all these. I love horror hosts, and every year like one or two will pop up that I didn't know about. So it's like, okay, let's go down this rabbit hole and meet a new one. I think that's the fun part of it.
Yeah, well, it's great to hear that. Thank you.
I wanted to say that I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw in quickly. I really appreciate your interaction with everybody who votes, because I've already gotten feedback from people who have voted for us, or at least I hope they did. And they said, wow, you already got back to me, 10 minutes later after I sent the vote or whatever. So yeah, people seem to appreciate it.
Sometimes it backs up. One frustrating thing is like you'll say I've been nominated on Twitter and everybody says congratulations, which is nice, but it's not a vote,
Right.
To just congratulate you on Facebook or Instagram isn't actually voting, but it's a step towards it. So who knows?
Yeah, we definitely get a lot of that. Like we'll be promoting just anything. For example, we've gotten a lot of congratulations, but it's like, okay, you listen and you enjoy the show, then just take a minute and vote, and then that's the end of it. Like, do you want me to work? Like, no, it's not work. You're learning. You're finding. I'm opening a door to you to find new stuff. And
like, are you afraid of finding new entertainment?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you don't even have to look at the ballot. You can just email me and say, Stephen Crypto or whatever. One controversial thing, if you have time, is one of the most prickly areas of the horror genre is the world of horror hosts, where there's a lot of competition and a lot of, frankly, backbiting, and it's sometimes. And Svengoolie has won like repeatedly, and he does have a national show on MeTV, and his fans love him. But lately it's been getting closer and closer because Shudder now has had Joe Bob and Elvira. It isn't like they're on UHF TV stations anymore. A lot of horror hosts have figured out that they can be on a YouTube channel or a Facebook channel. So it's getting more a closer race than just the guy who's on TV gets it. But
I've heard a lot of people complain about, they're just going to give it to Svengoolie again. But like, they need to think of it like, Svengoolie is on national television, keeping this art alive and putting it in the forefront, opening the door for all these other people.
Right. And MeTV isn't that hard, isn't that easy to find, actually.
No, it's definitely not everywhere. Yeah.
No, I forgot what I was going to say. All right.
I do that all the time.
His fans surely are dedicated.
It's unbelievable.
So,
yeah. And it's deservedly so.
I said to one guy, am I supposed to make the category best horror host except Svengoolie? I mean,
Right.
And another horror host told me, if I ever win, I want to know that I beat the best, not that I won except for Svengoolie. So we'll see what happens. But Mummy and Monkey is Transylvania Tonight, Count Gore has won, Dr. Gangrene has won, Penny Dreadful has won.
All deservedly so too. Some of the legends.
We've had a handful of the nominees this year on our show as well.
Yep. I'm actually working on getting Count Gore on pretty soon, so that's going to be fun.
He's great. I went to his house once. He lives in Maryland, and he comes to it's like a house, I ring the bell and he's all dressed, in his stuff. And we go down to the basement, and that whole crypt and everything is in his basement. The wall painted, and the crazy coffin with Vampirella inside. And his wife was filming the show, and anybody can be on TV.
Yeah.
But he's been around for 40 years, I think.
40. I think he's pushing 50.
Yeah, maybe.
Mistaken, yeah. So I think Svengoolie just passed 40 a couple years ago. And I think Count Gore is on a few more years. I guess if you count his, years as Captain 20, and I think he did Bozo for a bit at first too.
Everybody was Bozo.
Yeah, there was like a Bozo in every market, just like the hosts. The good old day. I missed those days. I was just a little too young to have had a horror host growing up, like a lot of people, and I kind of envy everybody who did get to grow up with a host.
I grew up with Zachary. Yeah.
Speaking, the main one I grew up with, Crypt Keeper. That was the main one I had, being a '90s kid.
Where was he?
The Crypt Keeper. That was the main one that I had. Just Tales from the Crypt.
Where was he physically?
Oh,
he was he a puppet?
Yeah. So he was in like basically the basement.
The Tales from the Crypt series had their little mascot guy.
Okay.
He was kind of I guess he was a horror host of sorts for that era. There wasn't really much.
Right.
Yeah. And in the early 90s, that's really all that we had, as far as I know.
Right. It is amazing how much horror stuff is in Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and that whole swing there.
I always thought about that. Like we do get some listeners in that area.
In
Indiana, probably concentrated in that kind of, I guess that's the Midwest. I don't know, Michigan, Ohio. But here locally, it's kind of weird. Like me and him we both have roots in entertainment in our area, but we can't seem to grab our local audience.
I think a lot of them just don't listen to podcasts, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because like you tell them that you have a podcast, and then you get that look like, oh, okay. You can tell they're like, what's a podcast?
Right.
Yeah.
Tell them it's about a murder,
Yeah. That's it. That's the thing. Everybody, you mentioned podcast and they're like, oh, murder mystery. Like, no, we like to, I mean, that's cool. It's entertaining, but we like to have fun.
Yeah. And then you throw in my name. Yeah. And they think that like, oh, you guys talk about cryptocurrency? No.
Bigfoot and stuff. I always say fake monsters, not fake money. Like,
yeah. Right.
But yeah. So the Rondo Awards, where can people go and see the ballot without having to email you?
You go to rondoawards.com. And the ballot will be right there.
And there's also really detailed instructions on how to vote.
Yeah, probably more detailed than they have to be. But you don't have to vote. You can vote for one category. You can vote for a few. You can vote for all of them. The people who vote for all of them, I kind of back away slowly from also. But, we have write-ins, Hall of Fame, the Monster Kid of the Year Award. There's plenty of opportunity to make your feelings known about the genre. And it's really classic horror. I mean, recent movies are listed and stuff, but, Friday the 13th and Halloween are classic to a lot of people, probably to most people, actually. And that world gets included, but, the rougher gore films aren't represented as much as some people would like, but it's very much about storytelling and the cinema, horror cinema. We have some giallo, if I'm saying that right, and folk horror is a big deal lately. Not really sure what folk horror is.
Yeah,
it's an animal in the backyard.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then you just email me, Taraco, TARACO @AOL.com. I still use AOL because so many people know that that's the address. So I figured it would be chaotic to change it.
Yeah.
the votes are confidential. Your email is confidential. And it's a lot of fun. I get a lot of really nice comments in the emails, which really keep me going. It's fun. But it's also expensive, and my wife paints the statues. Right. Can't we switch to certificates, she says.
Those statues are pretty cool. That'd be kind of
yeah, they're about as cool as can be.
Now, do you do all this out of pocket? I've always wondered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But some people buy clothes or go out to dinner, or
you buy trophies for creatives. I dig it.
I went to at work. My boss was quite, I said, "That's a nice tie." He says it was $80. I said, "An $80 tie?" Like, I'd never heard of such a thing.
Right.
Which is probably cheap by today's standards. But, and I thought, okay, if he can buy an $80 tie, I can, buy 2 dozen plastic bases for the statues. But yeah, it is all out of pocket. It's an investment in happiness. I don't know.
If you're happy with that and it makes a lot of people happy, I think it's kind of a good payback,
Thank you for you and your wife both putting time into it.
Yes,
I appreciate that. It's some people have boats.
Yeah.
So.
And you have your love of the genre, and that's good.
I don't know how much longer it'll last, but 20 years is no small
impressive.
Thing.
Very impressive.
Maybe I should NFTs of the book.
There you go. Well, hopefully we get 20 more years of it.
Yeah,
it'll be about that. But
well, somebody wants to take it over, and once they hear, well, you have to pay for it, and you have to go count the votes.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
maybe, hopefully, there's people out there, I think that appreciate it and love it enough that will keep it going.
Well, I really appreciate you having me on and helping spread the word.
All right. Well, we thank you, David. Make sure you guys get out rondoaward.com. Even if you don't have time to vote, which we wish you would, at least look through all the categories and all the creators and find something new. That's the most important thing, I think. Voting is important, but find something new and find something else to support or promote or love. Even if it's not Steve and Crypto Show, there's a bunch of other really good podcasts on there. There's books, magazines, articles, interviews, movies, everything you could ask for as a horror fan, Monster Kids. Just do it. rondoaward.com.
Yeah, if you're listening to this show, I guarantee you're probably going to find something on that list that you enjoy.
That says it better.
We thank you again, David. We'll let you get back to your day. I'm sure you got votes to start tabulating there. I'm sure
a few have come in while we're talking. Yeah.
The email box is filling up, so we'll let you get back to work. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing us into the Rondo headquarters.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Take care.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Hey, horror and pop culture fans. This is actress Elise Costin from Interfere 2 and After Hours Cinema, and you are listening to The Steve and Crypto Show.
Check out these shows available now on Fearflix.
And welcome to another collection of frightfully good films from Fearflix, Gothic Horrors, with me, your host, Malvolia, the Queen of Screams. Hey, I'm Pamela Such. You know me from all the Wave movies. And here we are, we're going to play Curse of the Swamp Creature 2.
Hello guys, I'm Rachel Waits.
And I'm Elise Costin.
Welcome to Silent Screams.
I'm Pamela Such.
I'm Monica Hayes. Thank you for tuning in to 70s Grindout on Fearflix.
Hey
Hey y'all, I'm Sherry Davis, your host for this wild and untamed collection of horror films from Fearflix. We wrangled up a selection of Texas horrors for this one. Welcome to Lone Star Horrors.
These shows, movies, and much more available now on Fearflix. Download it on your Roku channel store today.
Hey, this is Dr. Gangrene. You're watching the Steve. No, you're not. You're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show right here on whatever network you're on. I don't know what you're on. Don't ask me. I can't see what you're doing, but keep listening and tune in next week for more cool content on the Steve and Crypto Show.
And we are back. I thank David for taking time out to come on and chat. He's in the middle of counting votes and opening thousands of emails, and the whole process is like he literally has to open individual emails and read them and take note of everybody's ballot and who they vote for and everything. It's like, it's got to be work. Like, I don't know how he does it, but I'm glad he does.
Yeah, it's so nice of him to take his time out of his days to actually get that done. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, either way, vote. I think he said April 17th. Get your votes in. Don't forget to vote for us, and maybe we'll win an award. And you guys could be awarded too if you answer this trivia question right.
What a great segue.
You guys know how we're doing it. We're doing
that was
trivia.
Nice.
We're pulling the trivia card.
Very nice.
Pulling trivia card every week from this horror trivia game that Milady bought for me on Valentine's Day. There's a lot of fun, interesting questions in here. Nothing over the top hard, but it's just more chance for us to interact with you guys. So basically, we've been reading the horror question. You guys know the trivia answer. Message one or both of us on social media. We already told you where to go. And tell us the answer, and we'll send you some stickers and maybe more, and we'll put your name on a name in a drawing for a bigger prize eventually, sooner or later. We don't know what, but we always pull something together interesting and fun. So are you guys ready for trivia? Yeah, I know I can't hear you guys. Can't hear you. Are you ready for trivia? And it's like dead silence. That would be us anyway.
All Statler and Waldorf come in. I know what I'm ready for. A different podcast.
But yes. So here's your trivia question for episode 71. Which movie box cover shows one of the title bad guys popping out of a toilet? It's an easy one, and it is a cool cover. It's a popular cover, and do it. Tell us the answer.
Is that the cover of Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider?
Yes. You spoiled it.
Crawling out of the toilet.
You spoiled it. That movie go in the toilet. But but yeah, so which movie box cover shows one of the title bad guys popping out of a toilet? And that's trivia. Hit us up. And I think we're gonna wrap the show up here. Time to call it an evening because we're old.
Yep. It's past our bedtime. All right. We want to thank you guys for listening. We're tapped. That's about all we got for this one. We want to thank you guys so much. If you would like what you have been hearing, you can head over to Steve and Crypto Etsy shop. We have shirts, we have magnets, coffee mugs. So it's etsy.com/shop/Steve and Crypto merch. Also, you can head over to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/Steve Crypto. And we have a buymeacoffee.com/Steve Crypto. So Patreon, you can become a member, buy me a coffee. You can head over there and throw us a little tip if you like to help us keep the show going. We do this for ourselves. We do this for you. We hope you guys like what you hear, and we just want to keep it going. We want to keep doing it. And also be sure to follow us on social media at the Steve Strout, at CryptoZoo88 on Instagram, Twitter, and be sure to head over to the Facebook group, which is the Steve and Crypto Show. Just look that up and you'll find us. Doesn't take anything to be a member, just a little bit of your time. So join the group, and maybe if you're working on something, if you got a project, a book, a comic, an album, whatever, throw it in there. Throw a little sample in the group and show everybody what you got. And if you know anybody who is working on a project or promoting something, or maybe, has something coming up, let them know, tag them in something, or have them contact us, and we just might want to talk to them on the show.
Yeah, that's I think that about covers it all. So again, we thank you guys for listening almost every week. And we will talk to you again soon. I'm Steve.
I'm Crypto Zoo. We'll catch you on 72.
I'll let you have that.
Peace.